Folks, I'm here tonight to share a little bit about my life story and also the 2 keys of turning setbacks into comebacks. Isn't it amazing how we all experience challenges in our lives, both personally and professionally? And I'm here tonight to say that we have to embrace those challenges and truly make something good come out of every situation that we find ourselves in. So I crawled up on the back of that tractor and I sat on the back right fender as I had done thousands of times before. Dad put it in gear. He pulled out to the end of the driveway. He threw it into 4th gear, and we were flying down that gravel road. All of a sudden, we got a quarter of a mile away from the house, and the back axle on the tractor broke. The back right wheel flew off the tractor, and I was thrown under the tractor where my arm and shoulder were torn off. My right leg was crushed. Dad was thrown away from the tractor, and he came back up onto the road, and he picked me up. And as he picked me up, he pressed my shoulder against his chest to slow down some of the bleeding. And he grabbed my right ankle because the only thing that attached my right foot to the rest of my body was a strip of skin 1 inch wide and a couple muscles and ligaments. And my dad began to run that quarter of a mile back to the house, screaming and crying out for my mom to call the rescue squad. As I looked up at my dad, I saw a very scared look in his eye. And that's a look that I never, ever want to see on anyone's face ever again. And as I was looking up at him, I said, Dad, I want you to know that if I don't make it, that I love you. And please tell Mom and my big brothers that I love them too. One day I was out driving the golf cart around, and Dad signaled for me to pull up into the driveway. So I pull up into the driveway, and he went into the garage, and he got a basketball out. He told me to pull up into the basketball hoop, so I pulled the golf cart under the hoop, and there I was sitting in the golf cart, leg propped up on the seat. Dad lowered the rim, and all of a sudden he threw me the ball. And I caught the ball with one hand, then I'd bounce it, then I'd shoot it. And he'd rebound it, he'd throw it to me, and I'd catch it with one hand, I'd bounce it and shoot it, over and over and over again. Folks, I was right-handed. And for those of you that are curious, I am left-handed today. But I also wanted to play this game called baseball. And usually I get this one out, and I get a lot of goofy looks like, how in the world is this one-armed guy going to pull this one off? And I spent hour after hour in the golf cart during the day or in bed at night trying to figure out how in the world can I get the ball out of my glove fast enough with one arm to compete with all of you with 2 arms. I thought, well, maybe if I caught the ball and then put the ball and glove down between my knees and then pull the ball out, and that wasn't very good. And that certainly wasn't to the best of my ability. And Niana, can you help me out here? Everyone give Niana a hand. Anyone want to give me a hand? The other one. The ball would come in, and now I could get the ball out of my glove faster with one hand than any of you could with 2. There had never been a Gustafson who had ever set the bench at any level of competition. And there I was at the end of the bench. One night as I was crying myself to sleep, my dad came downstairs and he sat on the edge of my bed and he told me a story, and it goes like this. He says, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, or where you're at in life, but a big garbage truck's going to back up right beside you. It's going to be hoisted up and it's going to dump its load of garbage on you. And he said, at that very moment, you have a decision to make. You can either sit in it, act like it, smell like it, and be just like that garbage. Or you can process it, turn out fertilizer, and make everything around you turn green, grow, and prosper. Dad finished telling me that story. He stood up off the edge of my bed. He began to walk out of my bedroom, and as he was passing through the doorway, he stopped, he turned around, he pointed that big finger at me, and he said, but the decision's up to you. What are you going to do about it? And my dad walked out of my bedroom that night. That was the night I committed my life to processing all the garbage that had ever been dumped on me, was being dumped on me, or would ever be dumped on me in the future. I was going to make something good come out of every situation I found myself in. Well, I walked up from behind him, I grabbed him by the shoulder, I spun him around, got down on the knees so I could look him square in the eye, and I said, Josiah, what's the problem here, buddy? He said, Dad, you spin it and it stays up there forever. And I spin it and it keeps falling off over and over and over again. I said, Josiah, what's the number one rule in our house? He said, I know, Dad, never give up. Josiah, what's the second rule? I know Dad had the courage to face the next challenge. I said, yes, he's been listening. I said, Josiah, if you don't give up, you can give me any challenge that you want. You'll learn how to never give up, and I'll learn how to have the courage to face the next challenge, and we'll struggle through it side by side, just you and I, little buddy. Josiah's eyes lit up. He got a big old smile on his face. He walks across the basement floor, he reaches into his toy box, he grabs this, and he says, spin this, Dad. That's not funny. It's impossible. There's no center point of gravity. It can't be done. But what was I going to say? No, I don't have the courage to face that challenge, and you might as well go ahead and give up? Of course not. I was asking him to do his very best, and he was asking me to do my very best. Have you ever been asked to do the impossible? Folks, we all have challenges. Can we all agree to that? But we have to embrace them. Don't run from them. Don't shy away from them. Embrace them and learn through those setbacks and turn them into comebacks. Folks, I know that if I can, each and every one of you can too.
Well, I've known Gus for a long time, and his speech about encouragement was just not one that came up today. It's been there for a long, long time. He's encouraged me on situations that I had in the past, what I thought was difficult. He always had that same attitude. Hey, don't worry. God's with you. You can make it through. And that kind of attitude just carried me through.
And we all have challenges. His were just a little bit extraordinary, and I think he had the right people around him, and that's what we all need to do, is make sure we have those right folks around us. And I think anybody that hears his message will learn that from him.
There's never a challenge you can't overcome. I mean, it's something that people give up a lot because they want to take the easy way out. Being a fighter is key. Perseverance is another word that I know Gus from way back when, and perseverance is something that he's always preached to, and he lives it. And just to see him and what he's done with the challenges that he's had, and if he can do it, anybody can do it. And it's just that mindset to be able to go out and prove to yourself that you can get it done, and especially when you have people tell you can't, and then he goes and says, "You want to make a bet? I can." So
I think it impacts everybody. I think, like you said, everybody is going through a valley or some problem sometime in their life. And so I think it impacts each and every one of us.
I brought my 17-year-old daughter with me tonight, but she looked at me today and she says, wow, because we all have those challenges. It doesn't matter if you're 17, I'm 55. I've been going through some life changes myself, and I use Gus as a mentor, and I think he can help anybody.